Velociraptor. When you think of Velociraptor, you probably picture something as tall as a grown-up that could chase you down, but real Velociraptors were about the size of a big turkey. Seriously, if you saw one, it would come up to your knee. They were about 6 feet long if you count the tail. They weighed about 30 pounds, which is less than most dogs. A Velociraptor was smaller than a German Shepherd. They had feathers, not scales, and they looked more like weird, scary chickens than the monsters you've seen. They were still dangerous because they had sharp claws on their feet, but they weren't hunting people, they were hunting little animals like rats and lizards. Compsognathus. Then there's Compsognathus, which was one of the smallest dinosaurs ever. This thing was literally the size of a chicken, about 3 feet long with the tail, and it weighed about 6 pounds. That's lighter than a cat. Compsognathus ran around on 2 legs eating bugs and tiny lizards. It's crazy to think that this little chicken-sized dinosaur lived at the same time as some of the giants we're about to talk about. Triceratops. You know this one. 3 horns on its face and a big shield on the back of its head. Triceratops was about the same size as an elephant. It was about 30 feet long from its nose to its tail. That's as long as a big delivery truck. And it weighed between 6 and 12 tons. That's as heavy as 2 or 3 cars stacked on top of each other. That big shield on its head could be 7 feet long by itself. Triceratops ate plants, but those horns weren't just for show. It used them to fight off predators and to fight other Triceratops. Stegosaurus. Stegosaurus had those big triangle plates running down its back and spikes on its tail. It was about 30 feet long. It weighed about 5 tons. Those plates on its back could be 2 feet tall. The spikes on its tail were 2 to 3 feet long and made of bone. If Stegosaurus swung that tail at something, it could do serious damage. Even though it was as big as a van, Stegosaurus had a brain about the size of a walnut. Tiny brain, but it survived for millions of years, so it worked.
Allosaurus. Allosaurus was a big meat-eating dinosaur that lived before T-Rex. It was about 28 feet long from head to tail. It was about 10 feet tall at the hips, which is taller than a basketball hoop. And it weighed about 2 tons. Allosaurus had a huge mouth full of sharp teeth, strong legs for running, and short arms with 3 claws on each hand. Unlike T-Rex's tiny arms, Allosaurus actually used its arms to grab prey. If you stood next to Allosaurus, it would be way taller than you. But it wasn't huge compared to what's coming next. Tyrannosaurus Rex. T-Rex was about 40 feet long from its nose to its tail. That's as long as a school bus. And if it lifted its head up, it would be as tall as a 2-story house. T-Rex weighed between 8 and 14 tons. Its head alone was 5 feet long, bigger than most people are tall. Its teeth were huge, some as long as a banana. T-Rex had the strongest bite of any land animal ever. It could bite down with 12,800 pounds of force. That's strong enough to bite through a car. A lion's bite is only 650 pounds. A great white shark is about 4,000 pounds. T-Rex could crunch through bones like you bite through a carrot. And T-Rex was fast. It could run about 12 to 25 miles per hour. That might not sound super fast, but imagine a school bus running at you at 20 miles per hour. Terrifying.
But T-Rex wasn't even the biggest meat-eating dinosaur. That was Spinosaurus. Spinosaurus was about 50 feet long. It weighed around 7 to 9 tons, so it was a bit lighter than T-Rex, but way longer. Spinosaurus had a giant sail on its back made of long bones covered in skin. That sail could be 6 feet tall. Scientists think Spinosaurus spent a lot of time in water hunting giant fish, kind of like a massive crocodile. It had a long snout like a crocodile, teeth perfect for catching slippery fish, and maybe even webbed feet. Spinosaurus was one of the weirdest big dinosaurs ever. Brachiosaurus. Now we're getting to the really massive plant-eating dinosaurs. Brachiosaurus had a super long neck like a giraffe. Brachiosaurus was about 85 feet long from head to tail, and when it stretched its neck up, it could be 40 to 50 feet tall. That's as tall as a 4-story building. If you stood next to Brachiosaurus and looked up at its head, it would be like looking up at the top of a tall building. Brachiosaurus weighed around 30 to 60 tons. Its front legs were longer than its back legs, which made it look kind of like a giraffe. It used that long neck to eat leaves from really tall trees that other dinosaurs couldn't reach.
The biggest dinosaur we've ever found is called Argentinosaurus. Argentinosaurus was somewhere around 100 to 115 feet long. It weighed about 70 to 100 tons. That's as heavy as 12 to 15 elephants. Just one of the bones in its back could be 5 feet tall. One of its ribs could be 10 feet long. If you stood next to Argentinosaurus, you wouldn't even reach its ankle. Its neck alone was probably 30 to 40 feet long. These dinosaurs were so big that scientists still don't fully understand how they could even walk without breaking their legs. They had hollow bones to make them lighter, but still, we're talking about animals the size of mountains. So, Argentinosaurus is the biggest dinosaur we've ever found. But here's the crazy part. The blue whale is even bigger. Blue whales can be 100 feet long and weigh up to 200 tons. That's twice as heavy as Argentinosaurus. The blue whale is the biggest animal that has ever lived on Earth. Bigger than any dinosaur, bigger than anything we found in fossils. And they're swimming in the ocean right now. Why can blue whales be bigger? Because water holds them up. Water makes things float, so blue whales don't have to hold up their own weight like land animals do. Argentinosaurus was as big as a land animal can possibly be. Blue whales don't have that problem, so they can grow way, way bigger. If you learned something cool today, hit the like button. Subscribe for more videos where we teach you awesome stuff about dinosaurs and science. And tell us in the comments what dinosaur you want to learn about next. See you in the next one.